My skin is black.
What you looking
My
at?
skin
Yeah,
is black.
I feel so good to be black right now.
Welcome to episode 87 of the Black in Fashion podcast. Of course, you guys know we can't start any podcast without acknowledging all of our amazing sponsors. This episode is sponsored by the Alumni Group. The Alumni Group hosts the dopest brunches and day parties, happy hours, and international trips for Black professionals in NYC and in LA. Founded by Lanisa's future husband, the Alumni Group brings together NYC's dopest people to network and twerk at the same damn time over dope beats and bottomless mimosas. They're planning a trip to Negril, Jamaica this December, so it makes sense for you guys to book ASAP. Follow the Alumni Group. That is funny. I did not know he had Lanisa's future husband in it. It's sponsored by Frandy Napoleon. Okay. That's funny. I should go back and read stuff before people send it to me. That's hilarious. And then this episode is also sponsored by Chase Jackson Accounting. If you need help with your finances, you can check them out. If you need help with your small businesses, business formation and accounting services, you can check them out at chasejacksonaccounting@gmail.com. So today I am joined by a very, very special guest, Miss Brittany. I don't know if I should say your government.
That's fine. Brittany DeShields it is.
Brittany DeShields it is. Thank you for joining me.
Of
and
course. Thank you for having me.
She didn't drove up here from Philly.
I sure did.
From Philly. So we're going to dive right in. My first thing I do is I like to do like an icebreaker.
Okay.
It's called This or That.
Okay.
You're going to tell me which you prefer over the other, okay?
Okay.
All right. Mule or wedges?
Neither. A wedge.
Side boob or under boob?
Side.
Skinny leg or flare leg?
Skinny.
Skinny, okay.
Yeah, skinny. I do a skinny leg.
Fedoras with the big brim or beret?
Beret.
Beret, okay. See what type of girl you is. Hoops or studs?
Studs for sure.
Okay. All right, cool.
Yeah, I'm a
so I'm
stud
going to
girl.
jump right in. I want you to tell me just like a little bit about your background, how you got started, and how you became this amazing fashion designer.
Well, thank you. Okay, so it started when I was in high school. That's when I got my first sewing machine, and I just started sewing in my room. And I really didn't know that I was going to make a career out of it. I just knew I was passionate about it. And I come from a family full of seamstresses and sewers, so it kind of came natural. Then when I got into college, I started to take it more seriously, and I'm like, people keep asking me to make stuff. I'm good at it, and I don't have any formal training.
Okay.
Everything was self-taught. So
Oh, that's what's up.
So back years ago, probably I think 2012, I launched my e-commerce site. And then from there, I just took off.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been selling e-commerce for years, and then I kind of went over to selling fabric for a little bit. I had a fabric store in Philly.
Oh, that's nice.
Then that is what caused me to do custom, because people was coming in shopping for fabric, and they're like, well, could you make me a dress? So I started to do customs.
Okay.
Got stuck in custom for about 4 years. It was exciting, but I don't know if you ever did prom season.
Girl, yeah. We gonna dive into that.
Yeah, prom season had me in a headlock.
Okay.
For about 4 years. But it's like a gift and a curse, because I love it. It's high energy. It's intense. You get to be creative. But at the same time, it's a headache.
See, I didn't have that experience because there was no creativity in it for me, because it's just I saw this on this celebrity and I want this. So to me, it was more of me just playing the seamstress role, because every time I try to let me design it for you, these little girls always was just no, I want this.
Right,
So
right.
it took the creativity out of it for me.
Yeah, it was more so for me a challenge, because I had never did some of those type of dresses. So when they would come to me oh, I want this Beyonce Met Gala red carpet with all these ostrich feathers hanging down, it was a challenge. So that's
definitely
the part
a challenge.
I really enjoyed it, because I just got to be free and be creative. So, but fast forward, I'm not doing customs anymore, and I started recently an agency where we do full product development. So, with my background in fashion, it kind of just, translated.
Segue into
yeah.
That's what I did.
Yep.
That's
Two of a
what I
kind.
did. I did the custom thing for a long time. I got ahead like with weddings too though, weddings and proms.
Yeah, I was in bridal for a hot second. I jumped right out.
Yeah, I was too. I'm like, oh no. But you know, it's crazy. I actually think that I had more prom-zillers than I had bride-zillers, which is crazy. Like, I had more prom-zillers, definitely.
No, for sure. Me too. Yeah, and the bridal was cool.
Yeah, my niece actually brought me out of retirement, girl. I'm making her a prom dress, and her prom is in 2 weeks.
Oh, girl,
I ain't even started yet. I got the fabric though and stuff, but I'm like, it's an easy silhouette.
Yeah,
I'm gonna cut right into it, and then I'm gonna fly to Chicago, and if anything wrong, I'll fix it on the spot. Yeah, I'm like, she only gonna wear it but one time, so I ain't doing nothing extra.
Right.
So tell me about like your, I guess, how did you transition out of the custom to just like doing like your collections? Because I know that a lot of designers get kind of stuck into that segue where it's just like they enjoy a lot of the money that comes from making custom and stuff like that, but then it can be super duper exhausting, tiring and stuff like that. How did you transition out of that?
I just came to like a crossroads because I started to be unhappy with the customs, and because it's just so draining, and it's a lot dealing with it, especially during prime season. So after like 4 years, I'm just like, you know what? Because I felt like I was putting my main business, my e-commerce site on a back burner. And I'm just like, this is not making sense. Because let's just say prime season is from January to June. So that whole 6 months, I'm not doing anything for my website. No marketing, no promo,
no nothing. No
new designs. Then after June, I'm drained. So I got to take a couple of months off. And then I'm not putting nothing new out until like September. So I was only getting like 4 solid months
to actually do your own thing.
Yeah, and it just wasn't making sense for me. It's like you have to kind of just pick one, unless you have a team that can do everything, the sewing and all of that. But you know, I don't have a large team. I do a lot of the work myself, so I just kind of had to make a choice. And I know my heart is not in customs.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. For me, I moved out of the customs and I didn't even go into collection. I literally went into the product development. Well, actually, I went into teaching first.
Okay.
I went into teaching first. I really thought that I was like, let me teach them how to make, let me teach them sewing, because like I don't want to do it, but I don't want to lose my skill set. Right. But I think that, you know, if you do something to keep challenging yourself, like you lose your skill set for sure.
Exactly.
So now that you've done the custom thing, then you've done the collection. Now, I do want to ask you about, before we hop into like your new venture, when it comes to being a small designer and having to do a lot of that production stuff on your own, what is, I guess, how did you learn, first off, how did you learn how to negotiate with factories, and how did you know how much, I feel like I get this question a lot, how do you know how many units to make in the beginning and stuff like that, so you're not sitting on stock? So I guess, what was your strategy when you started to like build up your website and like how you went about picking how many units you would do of something and how to work with the factories?
Okay, so I feel like with me, it kind of came gradually because like for the first, I would say like 4 years, it was just me and my mom in my studio back in Philly making everything. We made every order that came in.
Okay.
So I had kind of already knew like what I was selling, where my numbers were. And it was at a time where we was pushing out probably like 20 dresses a week.
Oh, wow.
Just me, like my mom cutting them, I'm sewing them. So I had already kind of knew where it was. And then after I realized, I'm like, okay, I can't handle this. And I wanted to grow. But I'm like, you can't grow if it's just you and your mom sewing in a studio.
True.
Like, how long do you want to be, at this level? So that's when I made the decision to do production. So I just kind of based it off what I was already selling.
Gotcha.
I feel like nowadays a lot of people, they don't really have experience. So they just want to go get it produced and put it up. So yeah, it is kind of like you have to guess or just see what your audience is or do like a test run.
Right.
Because they never had any experience in selling. For me, that wasn't the case because I was already selling. I was making everything.
Right. Do y'all hear that, people? Also, I'm like, do y'all hear that? You have to do a test run. If you don't already have a following, if you have a following and you already know what your consumer likes, then it's a little bit easier to make products and to know what your units are.
It is.
But if you are new, you have to test the market.
You have
first
to test it
before you start investing in units and production.
You'll end up wasting and losing money.
Exactly. So y'all heard it. Y'all heard it from a designer. This is what she had to do. She had to test the market first. Okay.
Yes.
Stress that enough.
I definitely tested it a lot, and then once I felt comfortable, like, okay, it's time for production. Like, you can't handle all of these orders. It took me years. Like, I came to New York every week. Every week I would come to New York, meeting new manufacturers. And I just feel like, when you have a positive attitude and just a good spirit, the right people are drawn to you. And I feel like I've been so lucky because everybody that I meet is just so helpful. They have, good advice. They have experience. So I've met a lot of people just walking around the streets in New York.
That's what's up. Did you do your production in New York or in Philly?
I do some here in New York, but mainly Philly.
That's what's up. Was it hard to find manufacturers in Philly?
With Philly, it's kind of like if you know, you know.
Gotcha.
They don't really... no factories do marketing or promo. Right. That doesn't exist. It's kind of like an underground thing. Right. And so, I kind of just got bumped into different people. Okay. That's how I got my connects in Philly. Whereas New York, you can go on garmentdistrict.com or something. Yeah. So, because, I did my NYC Garment District tour. Yes. Yeah. You need to do one in Philly. I was thinking about that. I talked to my students when I was doing classes about it, and they're all interested. Yeah, you should probably do one in Philly, just so. I mean, not to say that New York is not a good place. In Philly or bring them here? No, do it there. It's nothing really there. It's not that many of them. I was saying, if you could do if it was at least, I would say on average, if it was 5 places in Philly, you could take people to. It's probably 4. Maybe 4. Yeah, I was like, if you could take them. They're not used to stuff like that. New York is hip to it. But Jess does her fashionpreneur tour too. Like when she does the summit, we only went to 3 places on her tour. Oh, really? Yeah, we went to a grader and we went to maybe 2 factories. Okay. So, and people still pay for it because at least it's something, Right. You may not be able to charge a high number for it, but even just for those 4 resources, you'll be able to get something. You can at least charge at least $150 a head just for those 4 resources, if you wanted to, for sure. Yeah, I guess because I'm just so used to it. Right, it's always get that money. Look at me, yeah, that's how I think about it. I'm just like, okay, it's for them. I bet you if I can help for it. If I can. Also, I'm bringing them business too, which will more than likely they'll give you better discounts and better rates on your personal stuff because you're bringing them business too. So. But then how do you do it if they don't let's just say you take them to the factory, but they don't know where to even start? Well, I have a manual that teaches them everything, like the order operations, stuff like that come with the tour. Oh, so you can create a little digital graph or whatever. Like you do this first, you do the grading first, then you do. Okay, this, so you go to this stop, this stop, this stop. Yeah, I do mine in order the way you do it too. Okay, so mine starts with the fabric. No, mine starts with the pattern maker. Okay. Yeah, and then I go to fabric places on the road, but I do start with pattern making first. So I'm you got to have the design together, you got to have the sketch together and stuff like that. And then I think we go to the fabric. The first fabric sourcing place we go to is after that, and then we go to the grader. Oh, okay. So we got a pattern, fabric, then grader, and then I keep repeating it, and so they have more options. Yeah. So because we go almost 18 places on my tour. See, that's a lot. It's a lot. And then I go to embellishments and stuff like that, where you get embroidery, printing, and stuff like that done. Yeah. And that's at the end because that's the last step. It's all of that stuff. Right. All that surfaces and stuff. But girl, you better do that. Another source of revenue. It's coming soon. Yeah, and then even if you want to do it in New York, do a road trip, you could do the first couple stops in Philly, and then you also could do a road trip kind of thing too. Yeah, that's nice. Now your new venture is happening. Yes. How is it going? How I know it came to you let me try this. The teaching came first. Let me teach the classes. The teaching came first. Okay, and how is that? How have you liking the teaching? I love it. Okay. The only reason I stopped is because it is belly. Okay. So I've had probably 4 classes already, and I love it. And it seems fun, right? Yeah, it is fun, and they get so much out of it. And I try to I'm the type where I want people to get the most out of their money. So when I do my classes, I'm teaching pattern making. I'm teaching them how to do measurements. I'm giving them free game. You can go to, this place in LA. Here are some overseas manufacturers. And I'm just breaking down the process of how you go through manufacturing. So I give them a lot. And I love it. And you never went to school for anything. Never. See, now, y'all hear that too. You don't have to go to school for everything either. But what Brittany did was that she hit the ground running, though. She wasn't I'm assuming you wasn't expecting for things to fall into your lap, and you went out and you seek the things that you needed. Yeah, I didn't know at all. When you don't know, you have to go seek the information. I feel like a lot of people sometimes, they might sit on the computer and sit behind the computer and just type, whereas you got to hit the ground. You got to go to New York. Right. You got to go to places you actually have to hit the ground running because, like you said, a lot of these places don't have marketing and all the other stuff. So and you really got to talk to people too. Right. When I'm in the garment district, I'm always what you doing? Me too. Right. Me too. I'm always bumping asking the people, like,
always like, what you doing? Like,
what kind of zipper is that?
Exactly. Like, what do you do? Or like, let me get your card, because you just never know. But I feel like you have to hit the ground running in this business and make those connections, because you just never know who somebody might know.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. But it's just kind of different now, because when I started, Instagram wasn't popping. I wasn't even on Instagram. And when I think back to it, I'm like, well, how was I selling so much with no Instagram? But I did it.
You was doing your thing, girl.
Right. But nowadays, they just see everybody doing it. So my thing is, I feel like people ask other people before they even ask Google. Like, the questions I get sometimes, I'm like, did you even type it in to Google first?
Yeah. I get those all the time, too.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, you should type this. I literally write back and say, you should type this in on Google.
Yes. Because the answer will pop up.
Yep. It absolutely will.
But
so how is this new venture going for you?
So far, so good.
Okay.
Like, I've heard that it can be, a bit taxing and, like, rough. Mm-hmm. My main thing is, like, trying to get them the best price while also making money.
Gotcha.
And that's a bit of a struggle for me, because
you gotta pay somebody else.
Yeah, well, most of the time, I do most of the pattern work, unless I'm too busy, or if it's something like really intricate and I feel like I don't want to spend a week on it, then I'll outsource it.
Gotcha.
But most of the time, I'm doing the pattern work. But yeah, that's so far, that's my only challenge. Just trying to make sure I give them the best price, but then I can also still pocket money.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Because a lot of times they don't know after the fact. They don't know pricing. They don't know, profit margins. So it's like I'm thinking of all of that for them while trying to give them a price.
Even more like the reason why, even though we're trying to find and give them the best price and stuff like that, you have to think about how much knowledge you're actually giving them in this process.
You know what? That's what my friend tells me all the time.
Yeah, because like if you're doing a lot.
Yes, it's not just
yes, and you want to help, because like honestly, I used to do my garment tour for free. Like people just used to ask me, and I used to like, I'm like, I'll be in the garment district later today. You could just come meet me there, and I'll show you around. And I used to do that all the time. Right. And then same way with the teaching, like I would just do stuff for free. And then it was a friend of mine who told me that I needed to put a price tag on it. Yes. She was like, everything that you're doing, you have to put a price tag on it.
That's how you grow.
Yeah, she was like, you have to. She was like, I know you just enjoy it and you just like helping people, but she was like, you good at it. It's a business. Turn it into a business.
Right.
And she was the one that pushed me to like really turn it into like a business.
That's good.
You do have to. You're starting a clothing line. It's not cheap. And we can try our best to make it as affordable as we can, but it's hard when you don't know how to do it yourself. No, it's more affordable if you know how to sew.
Yes.
If you know how to pattern make. So that's why I always try to push that education sector, because it's like I can teach you, but like me doing everything for you, you have to pay for that. Exactly. So you have to even go even higher.
Exactly.
On your prices, because you are not only teaching at the same time, but you're also consulting. Like you're doing the work.
Exactly.
You're teaching the work. You also have people that you have to pay. So you really got to get them prices. Like, and even though it seems like it's a lot of money,
it does.
That's why I take payment plans. So I do it like the bi-weekly. I used to do monthly plans too. So I realized it was killing me because I couldn't do my payroll with it. So I switched to bi-weekly plans. But if you do, it can be affordable. It just has to be in pieces. But
yes.
It's not cheap. My biggest piece of advice is do not undercharge. Do not undercharge. If anything, overcharge.
I'm working on it. My friend Brandon tells me that all the time.
Yeah, and it'll happen gradually. Like I feel like I increase my prices slowly. Like, and they still go up. Like every now and then and stuff like that, I'll take something up. Like every now and then. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Like I just got a consultation the other day, and she's like, "Yeah, I want to do like 10 pieces, and my vibe is like Tom Ford." I said, "Wait a second. What's your budget?" Because 10 pieces. And she's like, yeah, around like 20,000. I said, okay, let's continue to talk. You got a good budget. Yes, let's continue to talk.
And now I have made that first. I asked budget first because I'm going to be realistic with you, because I ain't going to waste my time. So now I have in my consultation sheet, when I do everything, the first thing I ask is, what is your budget? And what's your budget for product development? What's your budget for production? Because those are two different budgets.
Two different.
The pattern, the fabric sourcing, the sample making, and then the grading and the units and the bulk buying everything is two different things. So you need a budget for both of them.
Exactly. Yeah, so and that's why, like, ever since I started to promote the agency, I get a lot of questions, and I did like a Q&A on the page the other day, and there's so many questions that I know people are interested and they want to do it, but they don't know anything about it. So I decided I'm gonna do like a webinar.
Okay.
Just to break down all the details.
Gotcha.
You know, because they can't
Get
grasp
I can
what.
do that with you too.
Yeah, let's do the webinar.
We could do a webinar. I don't know shit about webinars, but we could definitely do a webinar.
Just
and, like,
break it down the whole process.
Okay.
Because, you know, my consultations are only like $150. To me, that's affordable. And it's a full hour. We go over everything. And it's packed.
Yeah.
Like, I'm giving
with
them
information.
Everything.
Exactly.
Yeah. But some people, you know, they're not ready to take that leap. And they just want to, they have questions. So I'd rather just do that than answer 100 emails.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. I have a FAQ section on my website. So I got to answer questions.
I'm working on that.
I guess so. It took me like almost, I want to say like a good 2 months because it just takes so long and it's just so much information.
It is.
And then you're trying to figure out what words and what terms to use so that it's like simplified too.
Right.
But like
somebody just said, I don't understand the terms. She thought I was being smart. She's like, well, ma'am, that's why I asked. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know what
I didn't know. Like, how do I know when you are? Yeah. So yeah, that definitely. So what is your long-term goals? For your brand and for this company?
I'm very, and my mother could tell you this best, I'm always all over the place. And I don't know if it's the fact that I'm a Gemini or what, but I always say I'm going to stick to one thing, and I never do. So I stopped making long-term goals. I don't know what, I don't know. I just do what I feel in a moment. Because I never thought I would do an agency. And the only reason I'm doing it now, honestly, is because of the pandemic. Like, I had a lot of time on my hands, and people just was asking me questions, and I'm like, you know what? Now you have the resources, you have pattern makers, you have people that can do production for you at a good price, that you have a solid relationship with. You know, now you can do it. And so I started to do that. So I don't know what I'll do next year. I don't know. I really don't have any long-term goals. I kind of just go with what I feel in a moment.
Okay.
But
no, that's good because I have a lot of ideas, so I know what you mean. Like, you got all these different ideas and all these different things like going through your head and all these different things that you want to do. So it is good to like just like take it one day at a time. Like, okay, this year I'm gonna do this, but then next year I might do this. And then I told myself I had put this up in the post too. Like yesterday, I'm just like, I gotta stop giving myself deadlines. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do this by this time. I'm gonna do this by this time, and then it'll never get done. So when you have that kind of mentality, kind of like, you know what, I'm gonna do what I feel when it comes to that point.
I just let it flow.
Just let it flow. That is great. That is good.
As long as it's working, and if I like it, I'm interested because I get bored fast. That's why I stopped doing the customs. But yeah, so far I like where I'm at. I like what I'm doing, but I know that's not enough. It's not enough for me. So like once I get the agency rolling, hopefully I can just take on like a CEO position, and I don't have to really work, and then that'll give me time to do something else. Yeah,
it might take you a second to get that.
I know.
I've been trying to hop my ass out my business for so long, but I get drugged back in.
Y'all seem so busy.
We are. Like, it is so hard.
Every time I see a post, I just see people and patterns and fabric and fittings.
We are busy. We are. We got like, no lie, we got like 350 clients.
That's a lot.
Over the U.S. Yeah, it's a lot. It is. And then you got to think about all these people got what, like 5 to 12 styles a piece.
Right. So I don't know what I would do if I had that amount of work.
Yeah, but as I was telling you on the phone, it took off really fast. Like, so I didn't expect for it to go that quickly, that fast. When I was doing it, I was by myself. And I had one intern, and the pandemic hit, and everybody started focusing on themselves. And I think that's what it was, because in the beginning of January, I got laid off, and it was before COVID. It was just because like all the tariffs they had coming off out of China. I got laid off at the beginning of January. By the end of January, I think I had made like my first $30,000. But that's because I was doing them tours, and I started amping up my social media. But then February rolled around, and then March rolled around. I'm like, hold the fuck up! It's too much. It happens really fast. But I think it's because people had all these dreams,
and they had time.
During the consultations, I always hear that too. Like, I really wanted to be a designer when I was younger, but my parents didn't think that it was a good career field. Now I'm going back to my dreams, and I hear that all the time. It's like 2020 and 2021, I think that is a great year. Not even great year. It was a great year to be an entrepreneur.
Yes.
You know, and I think that a lot of people started to focus in and hone in on themselves.
It opened up their eyes.
Yeah, I was like, I can't just have this one stream of revenue, because if I only have this one stream of revenue, they can let me go at any point. And it taught you a lot about the people that you work for. Yeah. They were furloughing y'all ass, and they were going to bring y'all back. They wasn't bringing people back. So I think it was just like a combination of like everybody realizing like, damn, I really got to do something for myself. Yes. You know? Yep. And I think that's why we took off so fast. Like, it just hit at the right time. And then everything that was happening in the Black community, and everybody really wanted to support Black. So that's another reason why I feel like it was like the support Black movement.
For sure.
I'm focused on myself.
Everything was like all at one time.
Yeah, everything was all at one time. But it when it take off, and it will, because it's so many creatives out there.
I know.
I just did a consultation yesterday for a doggy line.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, and it was really
thought about
cute.
that before.
Yeah, like a doggy line. So between the dogs and the head wraps, the bags, like it's just a lot of.
I sent 2 people to your page yesterday because they were asking me about bags. I'm like, I don't do bags yet, but hit up Lanice. They do.
Yeah, the bags is something else.
Yeah,
they are. But yeah, it went. I know that, and then you already have like a big following. You have a lot of girls that are like aspiring to be a designer and stuff like that.
Because that's kind of who I speak to. I'm not the I talk about my work a lot.
Yeah, you have that young generation like, oh my God, I want to have a brand, I want this. So what do you feel like is maybe the biggest piece of advice you can give to someone who they look at you and they was like, damn, she had this amazing clothing line, then she did customs, and now she's doing this, and I want to be like her. Mm-hmm. What would be like your piece of advice to someone that's aspiring to be like you and to own multiple businesses and to be self-taught in all honesty, because you just said you didn't go to school. So for that woman or that little girl, what's your biggest piece of advice?
I would say I would give advice that I received. I was in, I'm not going to bring that up. Anyway, the best piece of advice that I received when I was starting out is you have to basically learn how to make your own garments. Mm-hmm. And that was important for me because it helped me learn each step of the process. And I just know now it's a little different and people don't have the patience for it. But if I was to give somebody advice, I would say just try to just take a couple of months, take some classes, YouTube it, because it just helps you expand your mind and you know what's going on. Mm-hmm. And I feel like you can have a better product. So I would just say that. Just try to see if you can take classes and just educate yourself on it first, and don't just try to jump in and ask everybody else.
Learn your craft.
Yes, exactly. Learn your craft. That's it right there. Yep.
It's on my mugs. It's all over the website.
Yes, that would be my biggest piece of advice. Learn your craft. Lanice said it best.
It was crazy, and everybody thinks the LC stands for Lanice calling the A. It stands for Learn Your Craft.
Really?
It's Learn Your Craft Apparel Consulting. Everyone thinks that it's my name. And I'm like, it's totally not my name.
Yes.
I just thought the Y was too long. I just thought the Y was too long. So I'm just like, yours like a little pronoun in between, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, it's Learn Your Craft. It's Learn Craft. Yeah. Apparel Consulting. And I always say, it's not Lanice Collier Apparel Consulting. I ain't that fucking vain. Right. It's not.
I am. Mine is Brittany the Shield.
It's just a coincidence or whatever. Yeah. But that's good. Like
that'd be my biggest piece.
To learn your craft.
Yeah. Because it just soaks in more. Mm-hmm. Like, when you just rushing to do it and you just like, oh, I want this, make me this. It's not. It doesn't really like sink in.
Yeah, and I think that is where some of the problematic clients will come in. So that's my biggest piece of advice to you. Okay. If they're not educated, or hard. Not trying to get educated, you got to say no.
Really?
Yeah, you got to turn the business down. To be completely honest. I got to be completely honest. That's when you got to like turn like the business down. And I wish that I had did that a long time ago, because we have a service-based business, you do get a lot of people that get in their feelings. Like I had somebody show up at LC Apparel Consulting with the police before, girl, thinking that she was gonna come and take something from me. I just thought it was interesting.
What, take her patterns?
She was gonna take her pattern. She wanted to just take everything. Everything wasn't finished, and I have contracts, so I'm just like, I'm not going to actually give you the stuff without you signing a contract release form. And she want to take it. So if you want me to give you an unfinished garment, you gonna sign this release, because the release form is gonna tell you that you cannot sue me. And I've had a girl say that she was gonna sue me before, but I don't back down, unfortunately. So I send my lawyer's information right over, because I love litigation, baby. You can go. Yeah, so I'm fine with it. But it's like, let's say you didn't even want to go through that. I don't care about going through litigation. It's my thing, because for the most part, I usually be right. And I'm like, look, you don't know anything, but just the peace of mind. Yeah. It fucks with me. I'm not going to lie. Like, it hurts me. It hurts my feelings. It hurts my team feelings. Because, like, damn, we're doing everything that we can. And that's my biggest piece. Like, if they literally not understanding the terms.
Don't do it.
They're not getting it. All money ain't good money.
Right.
And it's not worth your peace of mind.
Yeah, I've learned
Let
that.
it go.
Right.
Like, especially like I've had people come after me for $1,000, and I'm like, I could wipe my ass with that $1,000 to be completely honest or whatever, and I would give you back your money, but you done got smart, you done threatened me now, you talking a lot of shit to me now, and I would have gave it back to you. In all honesty,
you disrespecting me.
You being disrespectful now, so now it's on principle. I'm not giving you shit.
Yeah.
Now you're gonna take me to court for $1,000, and you're gonna waste your time and your money because the contract says that you got to come to New York to sue me, and you ain't even in New York. So
let me go ahead and call that lawyer. What's her name again?
Jalisa.
Please.
Please.
Jalisa, like, girl.
If I don't, that's my biggest piece of advice, Brittany, is to make sure you have everything legit and legit as far as the paperwork goes.
No, I know. I'm working with her.
Yeah.
I'm
the
working
paperwork
with
go,
her.
and then turn down them clients, offer them classes, and that's what I've done. I revert to that.
Yeah.
If I feel like
you can tell when they're not ready.
Right. If you're not ready for services, I'm gonna take a step back. I got a class plan for you. I think that you should take this first, and I think you should enroll in my mentorship package for the business. So I revert them to courses and mentorship package opposed to services, because you're gonna spend all this money, and I could take your money and lie to you, but you ain't even gonna be successful because you don't even know what you're doing.
You don't. Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's good.
Yeah. Tell them. I'm like,
right.
Tell them, no, you know what, honey? You need a little bit more training.
Yeah.
Recommend some of the stuff you used to watch on YouTube.
Right.
Or recommend your classes
I
when you start back.
Let me send you these links real quick.
Exactly. And that will help you for sure, without doubt. Yeah.
Well, so far, it's been good. I haven't had any clients that I feel like it's just going to waste my time and be a headache and they don't know nothing. So far, everybody's excited. They're listening. When I explain it to them, they understand it. They can comprehend what's going on. And they're not flinching about the price. Okay. But I know they're going to come.
Yeah, they are. They're going to come. And then
I'm going to be ready for them.
And then when you set a higher price point, you attract that type of clientele. Yeah, because do you know who Brandis Daniel is from Harlem Fashion Row?
I don't.
Okay, she's the lady who owns Harlem Fashion Row, the ones that does she put the whole LeBron sneaker with the Fee Noel and Andra and all them together.
Okay.
Like, she does. I had a meeting with her one day, and she's been doing this for years. She's like, I don't want to throw out her age, but she definitely up there.
Seasoned.
She's very seasoned woman, and she has a company called the Harlem Fashion Row. And I went to her retreat, and I was showing her the things that I was doing, and she was just like, your prices are too low. Yeah. And I wouldn't even be attracted to this. And then as soon as I raised my...
How would they make money, though?
She told me and the crazy thing is, when I raised my prices, that's when I really started to put a dent in. Like, that's when I was able to do it. Because at first my consultations was $35. Now my consultations are $275.
Yeah. 35 for a consult. How long was that?
Last year. Think about it. I wasn't been doing it.
But how long was the consultation?
An hour.
Oh, girl.
35. But that's how I started. Like, it was like, and then it was it was $35, and then my classes were $75. Now my classes are like $275, $300. But
that's about the price of my class.
But now I have them way more. When I raised my prices is when I attracted the people that I wanted to attract.
They were serious.
And then the people who have the money for it usually have a little bit more of the education. So don't be afraid to raise your prices to where they need to be, because those people who don't have the education, they need to go to school.
Classes.
Yeah, they need the classes. The classes are the cheaper rate. The classes are the cheaper version. Yeah. But when it comes to the services, you want me to do everything for you. Everything.
Mm-hmm. Right.
How much money did you waste? Just like how much money did you waste? How much time did you waste when you was trying to figure things out from the start to the finish? And that's what I'm saying. They're also paying for your expertise. They're paying you not to make the same mistakes that you made. Yeah. That's what they're paying for. So don't flinch on them prices. Just
exactly, because I have spent the money for the L's.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so what is the last thing? The last segment that I have is just anything that inspires you, whether it's a book, a quote, a mantra, a crystal, anything that just helps you keep going.
Honestly, I think it's my mom.
Okay. Oh, family.
Yes.
Okay.
Me and my mom are really close, and I just always have it in my mind, like I just want to make her proud. I want to make her happy. And I feel like I haven't reached that level yet. So that's one thing that always keeps me motivated and keep me going. Aww. I just want her to look at me like, Britt, like, you really did it. Like, so I think That's my
what's up.
main thing.
Yeah. I cried when I told my mama she can quit her job.
Oh
and
my
she
God,
could work
you
for
did
me.
that?
Yeah.
You know what? My mom worked for me for like 3 years when I opened up the fabric store.
My mama still works for me, like, cause she just won't sit down. So I asked her, I told her just chill, I got her. But then she was like, no, I want to do something. So she's my distribution manager. So all my bags and stuff are in Chicago, and she just ships things out, and she's on the website and stuff. But she just want to do something.
See,
Yeah.
that's
mama making mama proud is the
biggest
goal.
motivator. Like,
definitely.
that's it for me. The day I can retire my mom, that's gonna be like the best feeling. I know, like I made it at that point.
That's what's up.
Like,
That's
I
when you
can
know you make it.
chill.
Now I'd be like, hold on, I might have to chop your hours this week. Chill out. But chill, I got you. Just sit back. I got you. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Brittany. I appreciate you. I know you came a long way.
I did.
So if you need any, I was like, come on, Bump. I meant to ask you too. How has it been managing all that? I know that's hard.
It's a lot. I feel like I need to sit down.
Okay, you might.
You know,
you look beautiful though.
Thank you.
All right, so thank you guys. As I always say, stay black. Peace out.
Yes.